what's going on? It's E Major, and thank you for coming back to my channel. I appreciate it, as always. So I hope you guys are doing great. Hope you're doing well. Hope your day went well, afternoon, evening, whenever you're viewing this video. I hope overall you had a great one. Not eating today. I think I stated this on previous videos that this channel is not a mukbang channel. It's a channel full of variety and different things. Discussion, blogs, topics, storytelling, eating, talking, drinking, whatever the case may be. Lifestyle channel, for the lack of better words. So today's topic is basically middle child syndrome versus older child syndrome, because there is a such thing. Like, there's a lot of older children who feel a certain way if the parent has two kids, and they feel a certain way when the baby is getting more attention. People always discuss middle child syndrome because obviously if the focus is not on the baby, it's definitely going to be on the older one. So then you have that middle child, you know, they're like, okay, what can I do? Am I involved in any of this? And I can speak about this situation because I am a middle child. And luckily for me, I had one of the greatest, or the greatest, I can say that for me, you know, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest grandmas ever. My grandmother was very, very hands-on with me. She was just like my mother. You know what I mean? Of course, my mother was there or what have you, but my grandmother, she took me in. Like, I don't know, I guess there was just something about me that drew us together, and I happen to look like her now. It's funny because growing up, people will always mention that, you know, you look like your grandma, you look like your grandma. God rest her soul, she passed in 2007. She had dementia, so God rest her soul. But when I think about her and I just think about the memories, it always brings a smile to my face. You know what I mean? She was from Virginia, Farmville. So she had those southern roots, and that's what was instilled in me. That's why my sisters and I have certain, we was disciplined a certain way, and the way we carry ourselves is southern, like, you know, but we still New York to the core. Gotta say that. But anyway, yeah, so I experienced middle child syndrome. My sisters and I are 2.5 years apart, and my older sister, from I can remember, she has always been fashionista, excuse me. Always were into clothes, always was into clothes. And my mom is someone that's into fashion, always was into fashion. I can remember being young and my mom's closet was full of shoes, to the point where she had to put shoes outside of the closet. And that's like one of my memories, good memories of my mother with shoes. And that's why my sisters and I, we love shoes. But yeah, my mother took on that with my sister, so they had that in common, you know, loving clothes and shoes and things of that nature. And of course, my baby sister is the baby sister. She's a baby. She can do no wrong, even if she's doing wrong. And I was just that child. I was like kind of shy to myself, observant, very observant. To this day, I'm very observant, to the point that people think that I'm antisocial, and I hate people throwing around that word, antisocial. But I'm not antisocial. I'm an observant person. I like to feel people's energy. If I feel like that energy isn't something I want to be a part of, I stay away, and that just is what it is. So I have always been that way ever since I was younger. And I think I don't know, I never asked my grandmother, God rest her soul. I always say that, that's like my grandmother, I always go to say God rest her soul. I don't know what it was that really, you know what I'm saying, made us so attached to each other, you know what I mean, outside of me being her granddaughter. my sisters and my cousin who grew up with us, lived in the same household. I call her my sister cousin, who unfortunately passed away 2015. Got her soul of cancer. And they always say, you mama, we call her mama, you mama favorite. I'm guessing I can't speak for any other race or culture or what have you, but in black families, more than likely the grandmother is gonna be called mama. But your mama's favorite, and y'all have this bond, y'all be sitting in the room eating the candy, y'all be doing this, doing that, and that's their way of being jealous. But at the time that I was younger, it's like, why y'all mad? Why y'all so mad? I didn't understand it, because I was little and I was like, I didn't understand it. I really didn't. It wasn't like I knew I was her favorite. I just knew that me and my grandma and I had this bond, but I didn't feel like, okay, she loved me more. And she always would say, it's not that I love her more, it just is what it is. We just had this attachment, and I think that's what it was, because I was this one that always felt different. You know what I'm saying? Ever since I was younger, I always felt different, so I felt like I couldn't fit in with my sisters either way. So I always felt different, and I think my grandmother probably picked up on that or whatever. I don't know. And so I don't really know, but we were tight. We were really, really tight. And I slept with my grandmother. I had my own bed and in my own room, and I would sneak out the bed and sleep with my grandmother, because that's where I felt comfortable at up until I was like 12, to be honest with you. And she didn't mind that. So I did feel left out in terms of like my mother and my sisters, because like I said, my mother and my older sister had the fashion thing in common. So once my sister got to a certain age, my mother would always take her shopping, and my little sister would want to go with them. The baby always want to go somewhere, and I'm like, sitting there, because my mother really didn't have any intention to take my youngest sister. You know what I'm saying? It was just going to be my older sister, because my little sister, she would have to, monitor her. And so who really wants to shop and have to monitor a baby? You can't really get into the whole shopping thing when you have a baby with you, but she would take her because she would cry. So it was like, so I would just be like, no, I just sit in the house, and I would just watch my grandmother cook and watching TV and eating snacks with my grandmother, and had that bond. And there's people out there that are middle children, and they don't have that bond, or they may not. And by the way, we all live together in the household, so it's not like, oh, I was going to my grandmother's house. We all lived in the same household. She was the matriarch, obviously, and but there's some people that's not how they were brought up, and they suffer real bad, and it's definitely an insecurity thing, and sometimes it's reality, where the oldest child and the youngest child do get treated a certain way, and the child does feel a certain way, and parents really don't realize that this is happening. Because it's not anything that they think of. You know what I'm saying? It's not on purpose. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I hope it wouldn't be on purpose. So I don't think they really notice that. I think what it is that people have to be more conscious when they have 3 or more children. You know what I mean? Because when you have multiple children, there's always going to be that one child that you see you in them. You know what I'm saying? So you may be more hands-on with them. And if you don't explain to the other children, maybe you were one of those, maybe you were, as a parent, you were a child that was like mischievous or whatever the case may be, and you see that one of your children, and you hands-on with them or whatever, and the other kids are thinking, wow, mommy loved this person more than me, love my sister or my brother more than me. Look what she's doing with this one, and she's not doing it with us. So I think that parents need to really explain that to their children, because children do be having complex about being the middle child. They really do. You know what I'm saying? There was times, although my grandmother was there and we had this special bond, there still was times where my mother and my sisters, and I was never the girly girl or whatever the case may be. And when I say that, I mean I wasn't like this big old tomboy growing up or what have you, but I didn't want to shop with my mother and my sisters. That wasn't something I wanted to do. Like, even when we did go shopping, I wanted to go get my McDonald's and go home. A lot of the times when I did go shopping with them, it was because I was getting clothes and that I needed to try them on, but a lot of times my mother just wanted us all to go out or what have you, just to get out the house. But I was sitting there like, I want to go to McDonald's and go home, but I had to suck it up as a child or whatever. I just wanted to get my McDonald's and be in the house with my grandmother or whatever. But there were some times, and I had mentioned this to my grandmother to my mother when I was I'm talking fast, excuse me. I remember there was a time where, because my mother knew that I really didn't want to go shopping with them, it was to the point that she didn't even ask me anymore. And she did that a few times, and I was like, wow, it's getting to the point she's not even asking me. Because sometimes ask me, you know what I mean, just to make me feel like you wanted me to go, you know what I mean. And then my mother was like, I was like, you never asked me no more, because I was sad. And she's like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, you don't like me. And she's like, I don't like you. She's like, yes, I like you. I love you. She's like, why would you say that? I was like, because you never want to take me shopping with you anymore. And she was like, you know what? Go get in the bath. I'm going to iron your clothes. You put your clothes on. We're going to go out or whatever. So I was like, okay. So she took just me shopping, and she didn't even really was going to buy anything. She just wanted to take me to make me feel a certain way. But just like I said, kids don't understand certain things. We take things, if we're not explaining things or whatever, we're going to take it to heart. When you're a child, you're going to take it to heart. So I'm fortunate enough to have, a parent and had a grandmother who, although I did feel left out or whatever, they always made me feel like I am a part of. That's what I say. And as far as older child syndrome goes, what I say about that, and I just thought about this term or whatever. I never seen any video or anything about that, but I know older kids feel a certain way when, especially if a child is like if you wait to have a baby while your child, like a lot of parents, they would have children right, and they'd be like a lot of years apart. Like, say for instance, you had a 7-year-old and then you decide to have a baby, while the other child is 7 years old. For 7 years, that child was getting your full attention from you, the dad, what have you. There's full attention. And now a baby comes into play, and then they no longer have your focus and your full attention. You know how that child feels now? That child feels left out now. And that's why I said parents really need to have talks with their children when they have multiple children, especially like that far apart. Because a 7-year-old, now 7-year-old is at the age where they're very independent and they're coming into their own, and they understand things more, you know what I'm saying? So you're able to verbalize to them, you may feel like I'm not. So, having that little talk with them, I don't really have to go into it, but having that little talk with them and letting them know, like, look, I don't love you any less. I still love you, but it's a baby now. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to give the baby more attention, but I'm still going to give you attention too, because a baby can't do what you do. You a big boy, big girl now. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, and that's the thing about it, is like, a lot of parents feel like, I don't need to tell them nothing. I don't have to tell them. They should know. No, you should tell the kid. Like, they're kids. They're kids. That's just like, a kid probably do something they don't supposed to do multiple times. You're like, this kid is hard-headed. They never learn a lesson. Because kids, you have to sit there and you have to explain things to kids. If you say for instance, when a kid is in a sensory stage, it's like a 2 years old or what have you, and you're ironing, and you tell the kid, don't touch, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. No matter how many times you tell that child, don't touch, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot, what that child is going to do? Touch that iron. Because they have to see for themselves, because they're in a sensory stage. And once they touch that iron, they never touch it again. They just have to. It's just something saying, okay, it's hot, but what is hot? You know what I'm saying? They need to know what is hot. You can tell them something, but they got to see for themselves. It's a sensory stage. So it's just like a child, baby come in, explain to them what's going on. Or they're going to have this syndrome where they're going to feel like, well, mom is, and they start acting out. And that's the thing too, where children act out and have these different behavioral issues or whatever after the baby come, and the parent think, oh, you're bad, but they're not going deep rooted inside what is making the child act this way, talk this way, act up in school or what have you, is because now they feel left out. There's always something deeper than the surface when it comes to kids or people in general. You know what I mean? So it's just like that. So you may hear my sister coming in the background, and she's not gonna come on camera, but I'm gonna ask her real quick. Do you feel, as we was growing up, this is my younger sister, as we was growing up, right? And you're the baby, I'm the middle child, and obviously, you know, we have an older sister. Do you feel like I felt like I was left out?
Yeah, you always say that.
No, but do you feel like, but when I was younger, did I act
feel like you was left out?
Yeah.
No.
Did I express that when I was younger? Did my attitude express that I felt like I was being left out?
No. You express it now as you older.
No, but mama was always there, so that's probably why I didn't act out a certain way or feel a certain way, because, you know, if I did feel like I was getting attention or the focus was on me because you're the baby and, you know, we have an older sister, mama was always that, she always filled that void for me, so I didn't have to feel a certain way. But say, for instance, if mama wasn't that type of grandmother where it was like, you know what, you handle that, I handle this, do you think I would have been lashing out or doing something I had no business doing for attention?
I mean, me growing up with you, I never felt like you was left out, so I can't really answer that question. I don't know if I can answer that question. Now, if I was growing up,
I think it's important. It's very imperative to speak to your children and let them know, like, no, I love you. Don't feel like you're left out. You're still a part of all of this. You know what I mean? You're part of all this. You're the middle child. You know what I'm saying? You're not the baby. You're not the oldest. You're the middle, and you're still, and you love. We all love each other the same. You know, it's no different. You know what I mean? I think you have to be vocal. And children nowadays, you know what I'm saying? If you're not showing them that attention, you're not focused on them, you're not showing them that love, you know where they're going to go? They're going to go to social media. They're going to go to social media and they're going to focus on something or someone who they feel that love them. And it's like, no, you know what I'm saying? That's how they get corrupted. So make sure you parents out there, or you or individuals out there that want to be parents or going to be parents, make sure when you have children, multiple children, make sure you have those talk with them so they don't have that insecurity growing up. So when they get older, you know, they don't feel like, you know, my childhood was bad because I felt this way, I felt that way. Sometimes a parent really don't see anything. You know what I'm saying? Because you can look at your child or whatever and be like, you know what? I was nothing like that when I was growing up. I don't know where they get that from. I was nothing like that or whatever. But like I said, it's all about being vocal. It's all about having communication, and a great communication with your kid, because you don't want your kid to grow up and have that syndrome. You know what I'm saying? Either middle child syndrome or older child syndrome. So make sure you speak to your middle child. Make sure you speak to your older child and let them know, look, the dynamics have changed, but the love never will. But anyway, people, that's my time. I hope y'all enjoyed this conversation. There will be more conversation coming soon about different topics and things of that nature. So make sure y'all comment down below and let me know how y'all feel about this conversation. Let me know if you're the middle child, or you know anyone that's a middle child that felt some type of way growing up or what have you. Let me know. I would love to hear from you guys. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm E Major, and I'm out. Peace. And shout out to my younger sister that y'all heard her voice in the background.